But let's get to the job number 2. Let's stick with the offense. They clearly need to add speed and YAC to the offense. It could be wide receiver, it could be tight end, it could be running back. This is an offense that at its peak 2 years ago was the premier YAC offense in the league. Now it's among the worst. So this is something I would imagine Kyle Shanahan will address.
Yep.
How do you think he's going to address it? And please tell me it's not by bringing back Deebo Samuel Sr.
There's a lot of people on Twitter that are excited about that potential move. I'm not one of them. You mentioned running backs real quick. This is more of a wide receiver question, but I do want to mention the backup running back position real quick. I would love to see Brian Robinson come back because I think he's got a lot left in the tank. I was very excited about that acquisition. You and I talked the day that the Niners acquired Brian Robinson, if you remember that. Why would he want to come back, though? Why would any running back that's a free agent in the NFL right now want to work behind Christian McCaffrey when you know at best, unless he gets hurt, you're going to get 80 carries a year, 90 carries a year? You know, I would like to see at best. Yeah, I would love to see them get a quality thunder and lightning type approach, but I worry that person's just going to rot on the bench and isn't going to play. So I think they've done themselves a disservice by not playing guys like Brian Robinson a little bit more, if for no other reason to keep Christian McCaffrey fresh, not just for the playoffs, but for the future as well.
What about Garendo and Jordan James? Like, they literally got 0 carries in the regular season. What was the point of drafting them? Why you could have spent those mid-round picks on offensive linemen or anything else to bring them in and then not even give them a look. I can't even tell you whether the Niners need a running back because Jordan James might be really good. I mean, he had a few carries in that playoff game. He looked like an NFL running back. And Garendo isn't great, but he looks like a real weapon as a receiver out of the backfield. And if you give him 8 or 9 carries, one of those could go for 70 yards. I don't understand why you don't even how they were like, we're on the team, but weren't on the team. Like, what's the point? It's like you have a 51-man roster.
I agree with you completely. I know there's a lot of people on Twitter that want to see those guys get the ball more. Is this their mindset, though? And I don't agree with this, but I'm thinking this is their mindset. Hey, if we can only get 4 yards a carry with Christian McCaffrey, there's no way that these no-name guys coming in are going to be able to make our offense better. Is that the
what I would say
process?
what I would say is like, you don't really know what's going to happen until you give a guy a shot, until you see it in real time. And like, I don't see how you can actually evaluate a running back in practice. It's practice. His job is to break tackles and get yards after contact. He could get 1 yard after contact. He could get 5. You have no idea what he's going to play like when the adrenaline's going. And I don't know. Again, when we saw Jordan James, I was like, kind of looks like he did in college. Kind of intrigued. Could be. Brian Robinson was fine, but he wasn't like super dynamic. And the Niners need some youth. And I don't understand how they went out of their way to give Upton Stout and Marquise Siegel and Alfred Collins so many reps to like go through the growing pains, but no one on offense got that. Why? How are you rebuilding one side of your team but not the other? That doesn't make any sense. I just don't understand. Kyle's too smart for me, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of that, man. I want to ask you about Guerendo because Guerendo, excuse me. You've seen him in practice. You also saw a guy who he reminds me of a little bit, Raheem Mostert. Remember, Mostert was originally a special teams guy, and he got a shot. He got the shots that Guerendo is not getting to take over this offense. Do you see similarity? Is this a lazy take? Am I just saying all these guys are fast, so they're similar?
Guerendo Mostert's number, dude. Kyle Shanahan was like, I want the next Raheem Mostert. And they're like, all right, well, this guy runs a 4.3. Kyle's like, cool, we'll give him 31. He has the same upright running style. Mostert didn't really become a good running back until he was damn near 30 years old. So I wouldn't write off Isaac Guerendo at all. It seemed like they liked him more than Jordan James in 2020, Jordan Mason in 2024. They couldn't keep Guerendo off the field. And then, I mean, he averaged 5 yards a carry as a rookie. Then he comes back this year and gets 0 carries. It almost feels like something happened behind closed doors. I know he was getting a lot of run in training camp, and then he injured his shoulder in a special teams drill, and it was like that was the end of him. I don't know how he fell out of favor with that. Maybe they felt that he was soft or something. I don't know. And then he fumbled on a kick return. He was a kick returner early in the season. He fumbled on a kick return against the Rams, and I don't think he ever played again. And maybe he had like kick coverage. Kick coverage.
We might have just answered our own question there, because Kyle does have a tendency to kind of put people in the doghouse. We're speculating. We'll throw that out there. We don't know. We're speculating, but
if they think
he's
a fumbling risk, then I guess that would be it. But still, man, like you spent a 4th round pick on a guy, you traded up for Isaac Guerrero, and you just throw him away real fast. Like I don't think you can do that. You're not good enough.
Did Matt Breida have a fumbling issue too toward the end, and he got sort of phased out, and then see you later.
True.
So there might be something to that theory. Maybe they're just like, hey,
Elijah Mitchell never fumbled in his career, and Kyle kept giving him the ball even when he was averaging 1.5 yards per carry. So okay.
Oh man, you bring up Mason though. I would have liked to see the 49ers kept him. That was a tough one. I feel like somebody like that, as a backup to CMC, that can take some of those tough yards, some of those goal line carries, that's kind of a bruiser, that can run inside, would be nice. I'd love like a bit of I'd say a thunder and lightning. I don't know if you want to call Christian McCaffrey lightning if he's got the speed for that, but I would like to see that type of approach where McCaffrey isn't getting overworked, man.
I'm so down on Christian McCaffrey. I'm sorry. I feel like he's still a premier receiver out of the backfield, and that's a great weapon to have. But as a running back, I don't know what he does well anymore. I don't think he has that burst to the edge. I don't think he's super powerful between the tackles. I don't think he makes a lot of guys miss, and I don't think he gets a lot of yards after contact. But he is a great receiver out of the backfield, and defenses respect him. So he's an interesting part. I feel like there's a way to use him at 30 that makes your offense better. I don't think what they did in 2025 to like make him the offensive player of the year maybe was in the best interest of him or their offense. There's got to be another way.
Well, and theoretically, if there's a way to use him a creative way, I mean, maybe you line him up at fullback and he's not necessarily blocking, but you got him and a premier running back in the backfield. Shouldn't Kyle Shanahan be the guy that can solve this problem of how best to use Christian McCaffrey?
To me, what at 30 years old, I don't like the idea of lining him up in the I formation in a static alignment and with 11 eyes on him and handing him the ball. Like, I want him in motion. Yeah, I'd rather have someone else play running back and have him. I don't care what the position is. You could call it what you can make up a name for it. He's not really a receiver. He's not really a running back. He's some flex position, and he's in motion, and he's making the other team, shit their pants. Like, oh my God, where is Christian going? When really, he's a glorified decoy a lot of the time. I think that would be really smart. It would extend his career, and I just think he'd be more dangerous in motion than static. That's how they got Debo the ball so much.
I was just going to bring up Debo, man. Like, a good comparison of hey, how do we use this weapon? And Kyle did it in a very creative, innovative way with great success. Now, I don't see, it's a different type of creative role for CMC, but I'd like to see some sort of innovation this offseason from Kyle. And like you're saying,
running the offense through CMC, your offense is going to be not explosive. He's just too old. He's not 27 anymore. You can't run your offense through Kittle anymore. God knows when he's coming back, and he's getting older, and he's coming off an Achilles. You can't run your offense through Ricky Pearsall. They tried. He gets hurt too much. He's a complimentary. So who are you going to run it through?
Yeah.
They got to add someone. If he adds speed and YAC, that's great. But you kind of need like a go-to guy in your offense. It's not going to be Juwan.
And this goes back to my offensive line conversation of I want him to address the offensive line, but I don't think they can do both and address the weapons and the offensive line at the same time. They're going to have to kind of choose, I think.
Yeah, and wide receivers are so expensive. Do they really want to go back into that market? You got burned with Debo. You got double burned with Brandon Ayuk. Are you going to go trade for AJ Brown? I mean, he's a diva. Are you going to give him the targets? He needs about 160 targets or he's pissed. Are you prepared for that?
Yeah. Well, maybe they should have paid Juwan Jennings prior to paying Brandon Ayuk, or instead of paying Brandon Ayuk. And I know that sounds easy to say now in hindsight, but there were people saying that in originally. I mean, I had concerns with Ayuk, man. I really did. I'm not going to say I predicted this whole thing, and I knew that he was going to fly off the handle and hold out and all this stuff. But there were red flags. He was whining after the Super Bowl, all that Instagram stuff before the contract. In hindsight, you lock Juwan Jennings up for a cheaper price last year than it would be now.
That's true. And I would say with the Niners and Ayuk, their official story is look, we loved him. We gave him a contract. he changed. It's like, did you love him? You tried to trade him. You didn't really want to give him the contract. He was in the dog. It seems like you knew exactly who he was, and you gave him the contract anyway, and you got upset when he continued to act erratically. I mean, I think that's kind of on you. You hope that giving him all this money would change him when it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and he was in your building for 4 years before you was it 4 years before you decided to pay him. You drafted him. You did all the homework on him. How did you not see
He
this
wasn't
coming?
a captain. You knew something was there, man. There was a reason, despite him being so good. So my question is, do you think they go wide receiver in round 1 again? They just did it 2 years ago with Ricky Pearsall.
You know, I will say this. They have a tendency to like do the opposite of what at least I think. Every time I'm like, oh, I think I know what the 49ers are going to do in the first round, they do the opposite. Like, I didn't expect them to draft Mike McGlinchey the year that he was drafted. The Niners always seem to go off script and almost like Kyle coaches. He's trying to like outsmart people and, you know.
Yeah.
I think they should. I would like to see a wide receiver drafted in the first round. But again, I don't have confidence in their ability to select one or to develop that talent. So that leaves me like, you know what? It's a little easier to develop an offensive lineman or to not strike out or whiff on a big offensive lineman. So that leaves me saying if other people were in charge, I'd want them to draft a wide receiver. Because it's Kyle and John, I want them to take a big, reliable offensive lineman that's got a lot of starting experience in college.
People don't talk about this, but when the Niners were developing Debo, Ayuk, and Jennings when they were really young, who was their wide receiver coach?
Oh gosh, bring me back. Was it
the
dude from the
Welker.
Patriots? Wes Welker, yes.
Welker. Wes
They
Welker's
fired
really
him?
good
Did he get
receiver.
fired or just not renew his contract?
They did not fire him. They didn't renew his contract. He went with Mike McDaniel to the Dolphins, and I'm not sure where he is now. But that guy was good. And I remember the word around the organization was that he was so upset with Debo for coming back to the team overweight. They listed him at 215. He came back at like 230 his second year. And Welker was so upset. He was like, look, man, I'll run with you. We'll run together. That's the kind of coach Wes Welker was. Wow. He really held him accountable. I don't get the feeling that Leonard Hankerson is a particularly good wide receiver coach. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like he's friends with the players, but I don't know that he necessarily has developed any of them. And maybe, to your point, like they could take a wide receiver in round 1, but they don't have Wes Welker to get the best out of him anymore. Have they gotten the best out of Ricky Pearsall? I don't know about it. We've seen flashes from Ricky, but they can't get the consistency out of him.